Can you guys indulge us here and just type in the chat any wins that you've had over the last week? I would love to hear it.
This is a great one for all you people that don't like to turn on your cameras, because then you can just type. And you just type. Oh, since we had you here, buddy, what's a win for you, sir?
So I have a client who's a friend of mine who they've been kind of dipping their foot into buying. And, I've been reaching out on Vibe Lounge, asking for things in the area, criteria that they wanted. Ryan Lentz had an open house that they sent me. And I was like, dang it, Ryan, you should have sent this to me 2 weeks ago. But we went to the open house. We wrote a strong offer. Ryan got it done. So all the heartache was avoided of not getting it because we didn't get in early. So that is a huge win. So now I am gearing up to list their house in Parkville, right off Texas Avenue. So if anybody has a buyer that wants a 3-bed, 1-bath, nice little rancher, let me know. Other than that, I've been really
Nice.
focused on hitting the phones. And while there's been a lot of losses in the phone world, just gearing back up after getting done coaching wrestling and doing a structured, I'm calling at least 50 people a week. I have seen my acumen on the phones increase. And even if the people aren't necessarily a buyer or seller at the time I talk to them on the phone, I feel like our conversations are more productive, which then again leads to a better chance of converting them down the road.
Nice.
Other than
Is that
that,
little
everything's
colonial in
pretty
Parkville?
competitive. What's that?
Was that the colonial in Parkville that Brian had?
Yes. Yeah, Brittany Road.
Nice. Cool, man. That's awesome. Keeping it in-house. I do think we don't do a very good job of putting your properties that you have when you get them signed, a listing agreement, into the chat. Like, I think
Yeah.
we could all do a better job of vibe of like, hey, I have this coming. If you have any buyers, let me know. Because a lot of times there is stuff that pops up that people might be like, wow, that was perfect for my clients, but now it's already on the market. Now you got to compete. Even if, some people might not want to do anything beforehand, it's also good to know that something's coming. So remember to put that into the chat.
Yeah, but that's
Well,
such a slippery slope, man. Like I almost hate announcing it because for most, not most, for some listings, it's got to see the market.
Yeah.
It's got to see the market, and so you get caught in this gray area of do we do something off market and potentially leave meat on the bone. Ultimately, it's up to the seller.
Yeah.
But it's a rock and a hard place because you want to do what's best for your person. You also want to help out your teammates, your in-house colleagues. But there's definitely fine room there.
Yeah. Yeah. I think if have that discussion, hey, are you open to X, Y, and Z before we hit the market?
Yeah.
And if they are, then definitely go that route.
Yeah. I wanted to just kind of touch on, I guess, what everybody kind of dominate the news right now is the whole thing with Iran. Hopefully we're starting off this week with a win. I don't know how many of you paid attention to the news or some of the economic stuff that's come out, but the stock market was up pretty big pre-market. I don't know what it opened at just because I haven't opened it yet, but there was some pretty significant news overnight where Trump came out and said that he had a very productive, positive conversations with whoever the leadership is with Iran. And the markets obviously took that very favorable for a lot of reasons. I hope that continues in that direction. We all hope that it happens in that direction. Markets responded. We'll see what happens with rates. But I talked to a lender this morning. I mean, they're pushing 6.5.
Yeah, it's not
Pushing 6.5. I mean, nearly 40 basis points in like a month is pretty wild. Hopefully I have some people that have had to hit the pause button. I know Steve said he's in the chat here that buyers pulled the trigger. I've actually had some people kind of pump the brakes a little bit over the last few weeks because of what's going on and how much it affected their affordabilities. And I get it. Quite frankly, I'd probably be very similar shoes, if I were buying something, because literally no fault of your own. And really, not even from an economic condition standpoint, just because of this war, your cost to buy something just went up substantially. So it was artificially inflated. So my advice to people has been like, I'd let this calm down. Maybe that's an unpopular decision or perspective to have amongst other real estate agents, but I'm telling people straight up, like, there's no way that you can tell me to buy something right now when I know the cost of it was substantially cheaper a month ago, and it's directly related to this conflict.
Yeah.
And I say that tongue in cheek because I know there's reasons that would make it make sense to buy something now in spite of that. But I just to see it artificially inflate because of a conflict, not because of where we are as an economy, is a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah, in a numbers standpoint, VA buyers who got pre-approved before I even talked to them 3 weeks ago on a $739,000 house, and their cash to close and they wanted to bring was 96. Just got pre-approved again, got new numbers back for a 735, so relatively same price point, and their numbers went up 10 to 14.
Mhm.
1,000, and they were like, what?"
Yeah. Yep.
Like, okay, their interest rate was 5.45 to 6%,
Yep.
and that's VA. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it's to each their own, right? Like, I mean, it's not a blanket statement you should hold off. But there is some reasons why I would, you could still be intelligent about buying something right now.
We have a
Um,
question for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you had a seller ready to list in the next 1 to 2 weeks, would you recommend that they hold off if
No.
they have flexibility with time? And do you think it differs depending on the price point from Scooby? Scooby, I don't know who Scooby is, but he.
Excuse me. No, I wouldn't. I would tell them to list it. If just because, even in spite of me saying that, there's still actually Housing Wire this morning said that the pending home sales is continuing its trajectory. So I still think there's going to be a spring market. And you catch that early spring. I don't know that it'll affect that. I mean, I'm getting ready to submit an offer on a house that has 6 offers on it currently. Just because I saw his post most recently, Fine Lens, I don't know if he's on the call. He just listed that one at Parkville, and that sold right away. So it's not like people are not buying. I still want to position people from a seller standpoint to take advantage and maximize their spring traction. So to answer your question, Scooby, I'll be Shaggy. Yeah, I would tell him to go ahead.
Yeah. Wait, which Steve is that? Because we have Steve Pippen.
Dude, you could be Wilma.
I could be Wilma.
Yeah, you're Wilma.
I think that
Yeah, it's hearing.
in Gleno, I had a same scenario. House went back on the market after falling through and had 3 offers. And then one that I saw actually in Hawk Ridge in Eldersburg, right, Sykesville, which is a very sought after neighborhood, completely old and dated and beat up on the inside. And it went in one day. And it was overpriced.
Yeah, sure.
So definitely so.
So here I'll go back to this and we can move on after this too. I don't want to beat it beat it like dead horse. But at the end of the day, my theory is that the American consumer is bullheaded. If they want to buy something, they're going to buy it. They're going to figure a way out. Is that everybody? No, but is it us as a collective, as a culture? Yeah, we love buying shit. So regardless of the circumstances. So I think that in the real estate market is just continues to show resiliency. I mean, it's the one economic sector that, yeah, it takes its lumps. It gets punched. It gets knocked down. It gets pushed around, but it keeps going. It keeps going. And the only thing the only real reason I can kind of stand to it is because it is for most Americans, it is the pinnacle of financial success and stability. And plus, it's a home. It's a basic need. It's the only commodity that is a basic need. Food, shelter, right? Like water. It's a basic need. It's not gold. It's not your stock. It's not tennis shoes. It's not, it's not a vacation. It's an emotional stability.
It's an American dream.
It is. So, regardless, I think people will find a way to, it's about to repeat by Chumbawamba. Regardless, I feel like the American consumer will find a way. So
It's like having a baby. Are you ever 100% ready? Now we'll figure it out.
exactly. Which will be a nice segue into the topic today. So has anybody put any thought about the fact that this is the end of the first quarter? Nothing on the board.
Nothing on the board.
You haven't put one on the board all year.
One on the board all year.
Loser. You are one loser.
In classic real estate fashion, I knew at the beginning of the year when everything was very dry and cold, I was like, I'm having a kid, a second child in May. What do you think's going to happen? Everything's going to happen in May. So I have 5 listings coming at the end of April, and I have about 4 buyers right now. And I'm like, so in my pipeline, hopefully in the next 2 months, I would say I'll get 9 or 10 under, but they're all happening right as my second child gets here.
There'll be plenty of people that'll help you out during that time.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
I was scared at first, but I mean, we discussed last year, do the right things every day and just keep doing them. So obviously I was like, oh, this sucks. But when you have X, Y, and Z lined up and then people keep moving them back or something happens, there's nothing you can do about it. So I can say, actually, I have a child coming, so you need to not move back. So
We're in an outcome-based business, but we focus too much on the outcomes and lose sight of the activities. So your rationale for handling that is perfect.
yeah.
Is everything's okay because I'm doing the right things every single day. So with that, I'm actually glad you're going through that right now, because this will build you into the adversity, because it is the universe, it is God, it is the way real estate works. It's building you into something better. And this is a good time to diagnose. So every year, every quarter, I do a very similar thing that I do at the end of the year, which is when I set goals. And I'm bringing this up, so I'm going to bring you through that process. It's pretty simplistic, but it's something we all should be doing, whether you're having a great first quarter or you're not having the best first quarter.
Yeah.
And it's because a lot of us set goals at the end of the year, and then that's it, right? You just felt good about setting goals. But we do better when we work in sprints, not marathons. It's sprints are 90 day increments. We're coming up on the first 90 days. It's a really good time to evaluate where you are and then recast your net, recast your vision. So I would highly encourage all of us on this call to set aside some time, and it doesn't need to be a ton of time, is to do this exercise where you diagnose where you are and recast what you want the next 90 days to be like. And then you're working in 90-day sprints. So what does that look like? So those of you that have worked with me in any capacity with setting goals, understand that you got to diagnose before you set any kind of goals. Set any kind of course of action. So when you diagnose, with your business, where are you year to date with your closings versus your goal? How about appointments for the week, each week? What's your pipeline look like? I'm just giving you some ideas. Activities. How many conversations and connections are you making each day? How are you using your time to make those connections? I'm going to pick on Scooby here because I know what he does when he's in his car. That guy's using his car to make his calls. He's in the car a bunch. So I know he's making his connections then.
Have you seen his phone setup? He has one block like this big that's a charger, and then another battery pack on the back.
I've seen it. I have seen it. He's a sick man. What's your follow-up look like? Who haven't you followed up with? How about content? A lot of us, so many people set goals around content. How are you holding up on it? And I'll pick on you. These are activities that you should be debriefing on. Your relationships. What's your SOI engagement like over the last 90 days? How many referral conversations have you had? What's your client experience? And have you had anybody close in the fourth quarter or the beginning of first quarter and you haven't talked to since? How are your personal relationships? How have they looked the last 90 days? How have you showed up at home? How have you showed up for yourself? Have you gone to the gym the amount of times that you said you would go when you set goals last year for this year? How are you eating? That's, what's your energy? This is where most people avoid too. What's your energy level? How disciplined are you being? What's your focus like? Diagnosing this part of the practice is about having a fierce conversation with yourself. And when I say fierce, doesn't mean you're trying to have a conflict. Doesn't mean you're willing to beat somebody up. Fierce means honest. How honest are you willing to be with yourself about where you are 90 days in? Now, my guess is a lot of you are like me and tough on yourselves. And that's okay. But this is an opportunity to then get better. Where are you winning essentially? And what are you letting yourself slide on? because I know we all are letting ourselves slide with something. When I've had accountability talks with people that have asked me to be an accountability partner, and I see that they're slipping on their goals, one of my favorite questions to them, and I think it hits them in the gut, is stop lying to yourself. Is it a priority or not? Because when you set it as a goal at the beginning of the year or the end of last year, you set it with a priority because you set it as a goal. And if you're not following through with the activities and the things that you said you needed to do, is it a priority or a decent line? Because if it is, then we got to double down Q2. If it's not, then just drop it. Don't stop pretending.
Don't put it on your to-do list if you're not
Exactly.
willing to do it.
It's okay. But stop lying to yourself and saying it's important. Actions express priorities. It doesn't give a shit what you put on your goal board or wrote down. What are you doing to accomplish it? Actions express priorities, not your words. So is it an activity problem? So you're not having enough conversations. You're not consistent. Is it a skill problem? I'm running into people, but I'm not converting. I'm struggling with objectives. So part of the diagnosis process is trying to decipher what's the issue? What's the bottleneck? Is it an identity problem? And for a lot of us, it is. I'm going through this right now too. I feel like I'm lacking some discipline, and I hate to admit it, but it's true. And if you love yourself, you'll be honest with yourself. Don't we all want that in our relationships? Like the number one thing we want, right? But who do you lie to most?
Yourself.
Yeah.
What's like when your wife calls you out on something, and at first you're like, and then afterwards you're like, I'm glad she did that. You know, it helped keep me in the book.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
It stings. Fierce Conversations, another good book, guys. Identity problem. What are you avoiding? Where are you negotiating with yourself? Oh, I can do this tomorrow. I can do this next week. Those tomorrows next week turns into a full 90 days. And then you realize like you haven't gone to the gym at all or taken care of yourself or gone on that date with your daughter.
Well, you made fun of me the other day because of my call sheet. So I had all my people that I was going to call written out, and you were like, "Look at this little call sheet." And I always put the shittiest calls first because I'm like, just do them, just get them out of the way. Because then once you're done those, and the rest are good calls. I mean, they weren't not shitty, but it's just people like it's not going to be as good a conversations as it is with the
You know what happens when you do that though?
build momentum.
And confidence.
Yeah.
You feel confident, right? I took that on. You get to say something that I think we all fight for, but we avoid doing the things to be able to say that. And I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
You have to do the hard stuff, the things that you're avoiding in order to say that. So you have to identify what kind of problems, where your bottlenecks are. Is it activity? Is it skill? Is it identity? Because your results or your lack thereof are not random. It's a reflection of your standards, and your standards are choices. Period. It's as simple as that. So what's in your way? What's slowing you down? And it's likely not time. I don't want to hear that. It's a decision. It's not time management. It's priority management. Time is going to happen whether you do something with it or not. 11 a.m., 1:30 p.m., 3 p.m. is coming and going whether you do anything with it. It's not time. That's negotiating with yourself, by the way. Oh, I don't have time. Bullshit. So then what do? You diagnose. The next thing is you need to recast your lines. This is about a 90-day sprint. You move from reflection to direction. So
I think a good thing to bring up would be where did you start at this point last year? Last year you were going through that. Okay, I'm hitting Q2. I'm slow. What am I doing to cast my net? What did that look like for you?
That's a great question. And we can definitely delve into that. So just last year, I was like Brady. I had nothing on the board. First time in my career that's ever happened. Going a full 90 days with nothing on the board. And it ended up being 3.5 months, almost 4. Pretty painful. I felt pretty down and out. But I was optimistic because of the same reason you are, is because I also know that while I need the outcomes, I'm not in control of the outcomes. I'm only in control of how many connections I'm in, how much value I'm pouring into people, how I'm showing up. One of the most endearing characteristics anybody can have is how you show up. And it can't just be I show up when things are good. That's easy. When the chips are down, how do you show up for yourself? How do you show up in your database? How do you show up for your pipeline? And it was hard. I'm not saying it was easy, but I was building myself, rebuilding myself. And by the way, I don't care how long you've been doing this or how old you are. I'm 46. I've been doing this for going on 23 years. You are constantly tearing things down and rebuilding. Part of the beauty of life. You're constantly learning. So what did I do is I was spending every day just making connections and trying to keep my energy up, knowing that I would eventually come out of this.
Yeah.
I would land on my feet. So I also rebuilt. So I spent the time rebuilding some nurture stuff for my database because I'd gotten away from that. So I was actually tangibly working on systems and stuff. Um, and I did come out of it, ended up having a good last 3 quarters. And that's not to be too harsh, but the opportunity is you still have 3 quarters. It's a full 60-minute game. It's not just won or lost in the first quarter. But you do need to be honest with yourself and reset activities if you need to in order to make the last three, in order to finish strong, start building some momentum.
So you can have a slow Q1 and not
Right.
do anything.
Yeah.
But you can have a slow Q1 and then do something about it and have an awesome 2, 3, 4. And then like no year is going to be the same. So,
Good.
you can look back and even beat last year or come close to whatever your goal is, but just make sure that you're doing the things in quarter 1, even if you are slow, to generate business
Yep.
in the other quarters.
Oh, and when you recast your next 90 days, my suggestion is to create, well, just from a business standpoint, one outcome goal, not multiple, one. Narrow the focus. So from a business standpoint, it should be number of closings or an income target over the next 90 days. What do you want to make, or how many closings do you want to have? And once that's set, you reverse engineer that into the things you actually have control over. How many daily conversations and connections do I need to make? How many appointments do I need to set each week? How much content do I need to put out each week? And that's different for everybody. Everybody runs a little differently, but that's what it needs to, and then that needs to be the focus. And then, oh, good.
For Q1 for me, and I don't know if you did something similar, but very similar to you in terms of working on my systems. So going in, I never dove into my website because it was on Lofty and it was just kind of generic website. So I dove into that, started redoing that, and then dove into Lofty and the follow-ups in Lofty because like Lofty I never dove into either. So I'm learning all these new things about Lofty, but more importantly, one of my goals was to be healthier. So I had more time. So I was spending an hour and a half instead of an hour at the gym, which if I was like, okay, if I'm not doing this here, but I'm getting structure for it to do better at the end, I know for a fact that I can go do this. And it's still one of my goals. And then also spending that time with family and stuff. So
Yeah.
that's what kind of got me through it too. It's like, okay, at least I'm seeing progress here because I'm down about this, but there's nothing I can do about it, but I can do something about this.
That's a great realization. Life is a dance, right? It's not a high wire act where you have to balance yourself. It's not always balanced. Stop looking for balance. That that implies that life is fair and there's equal amount of distribution of work time and play time, personal time. It doesn't work like that. Sometimes you don't have control of the outcome, so you have more personal time. How are you investing it? You getting closer to your family, or you taking care of yourself more? That's okay, because in May, when everything comes to a head and then you have more business coming, you might have to, yeah, you might have to uh, lean more into your business a little bit. So one outcome goal, and then what are your activity standards? Again, you are where you are, or you'll be where you'll be based on your standards, based on your decisions. Period.
Interesting stuff here. We put the poll up and
We'll pull.
who's on track at the end of quarter 1, right on track, a little behind or help.
Yeah.
Take a look at the click on one. Take a look at the answers. Click on help.
Click on one.
Click on this right here. There you go.
We got.
This call was needed.
Okay. Okay. We got some work to do. A lot of you need to work on, and myself included, who you need to become. Because my guess is that it lies in your inconsistency somewhere. I know it does for me. That's the one thing that's been kind of getting louder for me is, dude, you're lacking some focus. You're lacking some consistency. So if you need to be more disciplined, my answer to you is get accountability. Find an accountability partner. You need to get more confident. Practice. Find a role play partner. Shit, you can do it in ChatGPT if you don't want to do it with another human. More consistent. Again, find accountability. What habits do you need to develop to start working on to build yourself and evolve into the next version of yourself over the next 90 days? And then show me your calendar. Because if you show me your calendar, I can tell you how serious you are about your goals.
I think a big one is stop lying to yourself, like you said before. If you're slow right now, what did everybody do on Sunday when we had our first 80-degree day? Did you do an open house? Did you make calls? What did you do if you're slow? Because I know for me, I saw it was 80 degrees out and beautiful, and I did an open house in Catonsville, which is 45 minutes away from my house. Because I was like, I'm slow. 2 buyers and a seller. I was like, don't complain. Don't ask for
Did they sign with you?
nine.
Yeah, they need to get you.
Yeah, I got nothing. What a loser.
Yeah.
Don't sit there and ask for your plate, say you're hungry, and then, when your plate's full, complain about it. You got to go out there and you got to hunt if you don't have anything on your plate. So,
Yeah, it's a decision.
yeah.
It's a decision. So for everybody, I would challenge you this week or next, spend some time diagnosing where you are across the goals you set for yourself, assuming you guys all set goals, and think about it in 90-day sprints. The first 90 days is over. It is what it is. But what are you going to do? What are you willing to commit to? What are you willing to recommit to make the next 90 days different? And if you've built some momentum, quarter one, congratulations. It's hard to do. Quarter one's hard. You got the holiday hangover, the weather, all those excuses, by the way. But there's some there's some real in that. But what are you willing to commit? If you did build some momentum first quarter, what are you willing to do to build on top of that? It's real easy to let your foot off the gas.
Shane shared that he was starting off slow, and he looked at you and Steve's end of 2025, and it's giving him some hope that he's going to be back and doing it better this year. It's kind of the same thing as me.
Someone's gonna stand up.
Dollar.
I'm on the opposite side for once this year, where quarter one was really good to me, but I'm still doing the same things that you're talking about because I know how easy it is for me to be like, I'm calculating the commissions, like, oh yeah, that's a lot of money. I can play golf 7 times a week. So I'm really focused on still auditing that first quarter and then building upon it so that way I see some upward growth rather than like plateau or dip and then get back to that plateau. But again, it's all the same things that you guys were saying, as far as like making sure like you're pretty intentional with what you're doing and why you're doing it, especially for open houses. Like I'm going to get at least, 3 buyer contacts or whatever it might be. So I think that's all good stuff.
I love that word intentional. So I'm glad you brought that up. I would then say that there's ways to be more intentional about the activities that we're even doing. So open house, for instance, a lot of us just hold an open house, just hold an open house. You're not doing shit. You're just there and you're showing up 10 minutes before or 10 minutes after, let's face it. But if you wanted to be really intentional about it, you're not where you want to be and you're committing to open houses. I'm just going to pick on that one. What intentional would be is I'm going to not only host an open house this weekend, but I'm getting 10 contacts out of it. Now your activity starts to change because you can't just rely on people coming in. Maybe you door knock, maybe you do some circle prospecting around it. So your week shows up differently because you got a time block for those things. That's being intentional. So an open house isn't a goal. How many contacts are you wanting to grab out of it? That would be the goal. That would be being intentional. So,
I don't know about everybody else too, but I'm a very competitive person, and I know that I'm a very competitive person, so I use it to my advantage when I can. But my accountability group is Matt Brown, Liberto, and Mark Batris. And Matt, focuses a lot on his investments, but Liberto and Batris, they're probably 15 to 20 million agents every year. So they're some dogs. There's some killers. And at the beginning of this year, Liberto in the first month was like, I got 9 under contract. I'm like, dude, I feel like crap right now. And what did that do? I'm like, I can't be getting blown out. I gotta start working. And that's just like it's friendly competition. I'm happy to see, obviously, they're doing great, which is awesome. But surround yourself with people that are going to make you better and push you, because that's what I did in that accountability group, because they're all pushing me every day. When they come to the table with 3 new listings and 2 new under contracts of buyers and I got nothing, it makes me want to go out and do more. So surround yourself with people that are going to push you.
That's a good point. I'm going to pause there. Hopefully this hits with you guys. At the very least, I want it to be a wake-up call because I wasn't sure where the audience sat with this first 90 days, but it's clear that we're not all where we want to be.
Hey, Shane, you can request a call in. So if you want to do that, go ahead and call in because I'm interested to hear about you. You've posted a lot in here, and then also shout out to Brooke. Brooke, that's awesome. You're doing a lot right now, and it's all gonna come. So keep doing it.
Plea with you is to take this seriously because you deserve better than inconsistency, but you got to start making better decisions. You got to start being honest with yourself.
Oh, okay. Okay. No worries. Nice. Okay. Still working through it. Thank you, James, as always. Thanks, James.
Appreciate it. If we curated, I know some of us are friends with Randy on Randy Lusk on Facebook. He had posted something about a 55 hard, think of it like 75 hard. If we curated something like that, launched it here, would you guys be willing to be not only consistently on these calls and spread the word, but be willing to commit to what we come up with on that in an effort to push all of us? And we'll figure out accountability on it. We'll figure out activity because it's going to be activity based, but you got to also show up here. Would you guys be open to that?
I looked at the dates. April 6th is a Monday, and then May 31st is also a Monday, and that's exactly 55 days. So
Wes here, put in the chat or something.
we did a similar thing in Atlas,
Just James.
and it was great. Remember when we did that?
Yeah,
It was good.
yeah, gets people going.
Yeah.
At the very least, it'll get you into activity.
We can't see here how many people voted. Hell yeah, has 100%. We got some yeses on there. Donnie, oh Donnie.
Correct. So that's the hardest because I don't know you.
Well,
All right, because it's going to be out of context for people that join on other calls. Okay, awesome. Thank you guys for answering.
let's say maybe we get them to send something out, have people raise their hand, and figure out who raised their hand, and we can work it down from there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. With that, we're pretty much up against it. Does anybody have any questions or anything they want to put into the chat? Any feedback? Anything they need to help, or want to put out to the group?
Somebody had one earlier. Let me go back. I was going to save it till the end. If you had a listing coming in the next 1 to 2 weeks and another in the same neighborhood 4 houses down, would you tell both of these clients?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. You definitely don't want that conversation if you didn't tell them.
I think there's ways to reframe that into a positive.
Yeah.
It's not a negative. Anybody? Questions? Anything you're struggling with? Anything you want to share? Any feedback? Hopefully this hit. Okay. All right. That'll be it. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Ellen. Like to see the beautiful face.
I'm going to thank you guys for everybody. That's what I do.